Set it aside. Now the magazine plate here, the rod come out as an assembly. Okay, might as well take this apart at this point. It'll just probably fall apart in your hands. Pull that straight forward. Set it aside. We actually have something we have to take apart in that. We'll get to that in a minute. And there's that. Okay, the next part I'm going to disassemble is the follower and slide assembly. Rear handguard is retained by this band. There's a roll pin on the bottom. Once the roll pin's out, again, depending on how much rust and whatnot's there, this gun's in pretty good shape. As far as there's not much rust on it causing problems. But that guy is tight. You may have to use a non-marring punch to tap it, get it to loosen up. You can see it's rocking, it's just not coming loose for me. Using the handguard, I just pulled it off. The wood is swelled and gotten sticky. And there we go. Again, it's not retained by any method of retention other than it just sits in, presses in place. Okay, set that aside. Again, these little clips here. Okay, next let's put our trigger, disconnector, mainspring guide, mainspring housing together. And I say all those because that all goes together and goes into the housing as kind of one assembly. Here's our mainspring guide. Here's our mainspring housing, our trigger and our disconnector. Fits together basically like that. I'll turn it on its side so you can see. Now I'm going to start the mainspring guide up into its receptacle on the hammer. In this view, you can see that the trigger can actually come out. Start the trigger through the hole in the trigger plate. Position the trigger in the mainspring housing, like so. Now I'm pulling the trigger with my index finger while pushing on the back of the disconnector with my thumb. You can see that the hole lines up. Not 100% perfect, but close enough to get our little pin with the head on it started. Retains it into place. Now I can push this further forward. Snap my pin into place. The head's flush.